Okay, it's the end of duck season. We've had a full season of hunting with this blind now. So I'm going to show you what we did here. The thing's a little bit tattered. It's been through a lot this year. But basically, we have little flip-up thingies right here. And that's just so we can flip them up behind us. So it just gives something to break our background a little bit so the ducks don't see us as easy. We'll show you how we hook them up in a second. Real complicated here. They're on wires. Just bent the conduit around. And there's just a couple of wires holding them on. So that way there, they can flip in or out, either way. Coming back here. Of course, we have the rubber on the floor, styrofoam underneath it, and just some rubber matting I screwed down. We started out having 3 separate compartments here. Didn't work out, just took up too much space. So what I did now is I made this one long piece of blind, so it's one big compartment, a smaller compartment up front. I have a brace right here just to kind of keep the thing from sagging down when people lean on it, just to hold it up, nothing more. Just a screw right here, a screw right down here, and a little piece of bent metal which kind of looks like this. Got a little V on one end to hook the screw, the other end has a hole in it, it's bent to fit the shape of the boat, and just a bolt comes through right here to hold it up. We have right here a couple of doormats. That's just for the dog to sit on. Keeps the water off of her, helps with the ice and everything. We installed a shelf on this side just to hold all these little bars, hold shells, lunch, whatever. And we got this here, little storage box, just holds a flashlight, doggy treats, a few tools, tape, things we might need in an emergency out there. Back here we have just some old camouflage. These mats fall apart that we buy. I just hook them to stuff and we use that just to cover up the motor. Also, we always carry this right here. Just a simple little hook. It's great for hooking decoys or whatever you need it for. It's just handy to have. Keep that right up here. Now, we installed just a couple toggle switches here, right down here. That's for our bow and stern lights. And put that little piece of wood over them, keeps the water off, keeps the dog from hitting them accidentally. Now, up in the front here, you can see down here, we have wiring. I didn't get a chance to fasten it in. Duck season came too quick. And that's just some clear tubing. All this is 1/2-inch milk house tubing. Pick it up in any hardware store if you're out in the country. They all carry it, but that's all it is. And I cut a slit all the way up it, and then I put the wire inside of it because it's about impossible to feed wire through this because of the friction. So I cut a slit in it, fed the wire in it to protect the wire, and I will be fastening it up onto there somewhere. On here, we'll lift up the other piece, hook her up. Okay. Okay, our blind is all hooked up now. We have these little flippers here, so we got to hold them up somehow. We have another little shelf here just for the guy in the front to use on the one side. We take this, it's just a piece of bar, I wrapped it with tape so it doesn't shine, and it's got a slot on each end of it here. Okay, all I do now is I just hook the slot anywhere in here. You can hook it into plastic, hook it in these wires, whatever you want to do. Pull this up however you want it. And you can just hook this in here. There's wires in here. Hook it in. Next thing you do, take this, put over the top of it right here. Normally it'll be sitting back here, but I only have one panel up. But this helps hide the guy down inside. It gives a shadow under here, so you can be calling ducks. You can still see through this, but you're calling ducks from down under here. The ducks can't see you. The next thing we do, from hunting alone, usually I'll hunt up in the front, but since we have this up, I'll show you how it works. Take this same bar now, and just run it through here. Close this up. Throw a little grass across here. Breaks it up. Now, if you're hunting alone, you've got this part closed. You can set up these flippers back here, 1 or 2 of them, however you want it. And it just helps hide you. Sit in here, we just have these buckets. They run $40 or so. They got a swivel seat on them so that you can turn if you want. And what we do is we just sit down on them in here and it makes it nice because you can pivot. Got storage underneath, put shells, lunch, whatever in there. Keeps you about the right height. Our head, all except for about this much of it, is below these flippers right here. So when we're sitting here, we can be sitting here with this flipper up, and it pretty well covers us. We put those little mats up on top, cover this off, and we're hidden from the ducks. Works real good. I mentioned it before. If you have conduit, if your blind is out of conduit, painting, that's great. Paint wears off. You can see right here on this, how this paint is worn off all around, especially on the bottom part of it. So I haven't done it on this one yet, but what I do is buy friction tape. It's pretty inexpensive, $1.50, $2 a roll, and I just wind friction tape. It's a cloth tape, kind of like what they use on hockey sticks, and just wind that friction tape around here. There's no glare to it. You can paint it, you can do whatever you want, and it takes paint real nice, and it just helps camouflage, takes the shine off. Don't have to worry about the paint coming off. The frame here is made out of 3/4 inch conduit. It's just a thin wall conduit. Because of the length of this, I had to take 2 pieces of it. It's made in 2 pieces, and I cut a little piece about 1 foot long, made a slot down it, shoved it inside the 2 ends all the way, and shoved a bunch of screws through it. It's right in here, a joint right in here, and that little piece inside of there just stiffens it up so it won't bend as easy and break. And I also have this, like I said, a brace right here to hold the whole thing up because of the length of it. If I redesign this blind next year, which I probably will, every year is a new year, you learn things, I'm going to go with 1 inch conduit just because it's a little bit stiffer. Yep, I drooled there. It's that pickle sandwich I just had. Anyways, next year if I do it, I'm going to go with 1 inch conduit, a little bit stiffer, takes a little bit more of a beating. I'll still have the brace in here and everything, but it's just, you can see this thing's a little bit wobbly. 1 inch is just a little bit sturdier. So I will do that. Also next year, I figured out now, I think I got this down right, we're going to make the blind start here, go up to the front, one solid piece. Then this piece back here will be another individual compartment, just reverse of what it is now. Reason being, I use the mud motor here. When I have to go chase a cripple, I have to drop this whole big part of the blind here, and we can leave that one up, but I have to drop the whole big part. Well, it's a real pain. It's going to be a lot easier, especially if I'm hunting by myself, to just drop a little 6 foot long section than a 12 foot long section here of blind. So I will do that. Just reverse what I have here, make a small compartment here, big compartment up there. And obviously the green stuff here, I'm probably going to get away from that. Next year I'll go back to a heavy plastic 1 inch square type of netting. The reason for that is you can see up here on top, it's shiny. The paint wears off it. We can't always keep grass over it. It's shiny, the birds can see it. Well, if I go with that 1 inch plastic black netting, 1 inch square, the birds won't see it. I had that up until a couple of years ago. I thought I'd try this. Works great, very durable, but it shines. Got one more thing. Step over to the other side. Okay, we got one more thing here, and I see this a lot. Guys like to have their dog come in the back, come in the front, whatever. I didn't like that. It just leaves the back open. Birds can see too much. The dog goes in and out of the middle right here. She jumps right on the seat. She can jump in or out from the seat, and it works out real nice. And it's all, the middle is always out of the water, so the dog doesn't have to jump up out of the water into the boat. She can just jump from a bog or whatever right up into the boat here.